Hey everybody, this is Tiggy Maximus of Tiggy Maximus Talks. This is episode 2. I wanted to go over the first round of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, and I also want to go over the second round of the NBA playoffs, and go over a little bit of the UFC Fight Night, UFC Vegas 54, and then I'll talk a little bit about Foodie Land, Del Mar, that just took place this past weekend. So here we go, guys. So the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs had concluded, and the Colorado Avalanche, they swept the Nashville Predators 4-0. The St. Louis Blues, they outlasted the Minnesota Wild 4-2. Colorado Avalanche would now be playing the St. Louis Blues in the second round of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. On the other side, we also have the the Calgary Flames. They outlasted the Dallas Stars 4-3, winning Game 7 at home. My team is actually the LA Kings, but unfortunately, they were up 3-2 on the Edmonton Oilers. However, the Oilers came back and won Game 6 in LA, and also brought Game 7 back home. And the Oilers actually won Game 7 at home 2-0, blanking the LA Kings. So Kings are out. So the Flames will be facing the Oilers in the second round as well. And so now I'm trying to remember something about the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, because normally if you were thinking that the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference had their own separate playoff, but given that these playoffs were more divisional, so there will be a divisional winner in each of the 4 divisions, but the 4 divisions were not particularly set as East versus West. I believe there was something where the top point getter of the 4 teams will be playing against the divisional winner that had the least amount of points. So it is technically reseeded. So it will not be like unbalanced. So continuing about that, the Florida Panthers, the President Trophy winners, they actually were down 2-1 to the Washington Capitals, but Florida ended up winning the next 3 games, and they won the series 4-2. They will now be playing the Tampa Bay Lightning, who actually outlasted the Toronto Maple Leafs 4-3. Won Game 7 in Toronto, and Tampa Bay is technically the 2-time defending champions. So they're still alive for a 3-peat. Dynasty still in the making. And in the other side, you got the Rangers. They outlasted the Pittsburgh Penguins, who were actually ahead 3-1. But the Rangers came back and won the last 3 games to win 4-3. Kudos to the Rangers for completing the comeback. And then you got the Carolina Hurricanes, who defeated the Boston Bruins 4-3, won Game 7 at home. And so Carolina will be playing the New York Rangers. So all 4 matchups should be pretty good. Colorado, I think, has the second most points in the NHL, behind the Florida Panthers. So I'm hoping what's going to happen is that Colorado will win against the Blues, and the Flames will beat the Oilers. The Lightning will beat the Panthers, and let's say Hurricanes over the Rangers. So if that's the case, I would want the Avalanche to play against the Lightning, and I want the Lightning to finish their three-peat, defeating the Avalanche. Probably Lightning over Avalanche in probably six games. Tampa Bay will win it at home, clinching the cup at home against Colorado. So we'll see what happens about that. So we also have the second round of the NBA playoffs concluding on Sunday. So big shocker, the number one seed Phoenix Suns lost Game 7 at home, losing the series 4-3 to the Dallas Mavericks, the number 4 seed. Dallas just ended up picking up their stride, and they were outplaying the Phoenix Suns pretty much throughout the second half of the series. So it looked like it was a chalk pick the Phoenix Suns to win, because they were in the finals last year. They were getting very close. Pretty much kept the same team. So unfortunately, with Luka Doncic being healthy, he just simply outplayed Chris Paul, and Chris Paul just could not lead the team to victory. So it should be interesting to see how Dallas Mavericks play against their Western Conference Finals opponent for the Western Conference Championship, the Golden State Warriors, who I believe now have made it back to the Promised Land. They both have Klay Thompson, they have Steph Curry, they're both healthy, and I mean, they technically kind of have a death lineup brewing. So the Warriors, actually, they defeated the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are the number 2 seed, and the Warriors are number 3. Beat them 4-2. And John Morant for the Memphis Grizzlies was injured the last few games, so the Memphis Grizzlies didn't have their star player anymore. So it was just a matter of time before the Warriors finished off the Grizzlies. So on the other side, so you got the Miami Heat, the number 1 seed. They defeated the 4-seeded Philadelphia 76ers 4-2. Finished Game 6 in Philadelphia. Wasn't that really that close, really. And then, and the number 2 seed Boston Celtics actually had to come back. A lot of times I thought the Milwaukee Bucks, the number 3 seed, was going to win the series, either in 5 and 6, but it did go to a Game 7, and Boston was able to win Game 6 in Milwaukee, bring it back to Boston for Game 7, and finish off a blowout, actually, against the Milwaukee Bucks, clinching 4-3. So Warriors, Mavericks for the Western Conference Championship, and you got the Heat and the Celtics for the Eastern Conference Championship. So I'm actually hoping that the Warriors will beat the Mavericks, and I'm hoping the Heat will defeat the Celtics. So I think I would want the Heat to defeat the Warriors, but I have a feeling the Warriors are going to beat the Heat. So either way, I just didn't want Boston to win. So here we go. The Padres they won the season series with the Atlanta Braves, who were the defending World Series champions. There were 7 games they were playing in just the first 8 weeks of the season, 6 or 8 weeks. And the San Diego Padres actually ended up winning over the weekend in Atlanta, winning 2 of 3, and they won on Sunday. It actually went to extra innings, and they were able to defeat let me take that back. it was actually 3-0 Atlanta, if I remember correctly, leading on Sunday. And then the Padres ended up picking away at that lead, and they tied it, I believe, in the 8th inning, 7th inning. So the game went into extras. It went into I believe, the 11th inning, and the San Diego Padres ended up winning 7-3 in Atlanta. So they've actually won 4 of the 7 games against the defending world champions, the Atlanta Braves. So kudos to the Padres. And they're getting some of their pitching back with Blake Snell, and Clevenger is actually starting to play again. So he's going to be playing again, I think, today, actually. So it should be a good series against the Phillies. So going forward, the Padres got a lot of things going on, and they're almost pretty much head-to-head with the Dodgers for the first place in the NL West division. So, and then you got the San Francisco Giants kind of lurking behind the Padres by a game or so. But of course, the NL West is actually pretty deep. The worst team actually has a 500 record, which you cannot say about most of the other 5 divisions in MLB, because the NL West might actually have all their teams be in the playoffs. Although I think technically that's impossible, because you can only have no more than 4 teams from one division in the playoffs anyway. So, but who knows? Let's see what happens. So UFC Vegas 54 took place over this past weekend, and the main event, Alexander Rakic actually lost by TKO to Jan Blachowicz, or Jan Blachowicz. So Rakic ended up popping his kneecap, or injured his kneecap, I think, during the 3rd round, and Rakic could no longer continue. So Jan won by default. I was actually hoping for Rakic. He was on his way up. Jan, I believe he was trying to bounce back from a loss to the new light heavyweight champion, Glover Teixeira, who was like an old man, 44, 45 or something. So something was very off about their last light heavyweight championship match. But Jan was just not right in the mind. Health-wise, something was wrong. Glover Teixeira knew what to do and choked out Jan. So Glover Teixeira, by the way, is actually defending his championship, I believe, on June 4th, Saturday, UFC 275. That's going to be the main event. By going back to the fight night this past Saturday, Jan, he needed this victory. He kind of needed to stay in the top 1, really, and will probably challenge the winner of the light heavyweight championship match at 275 between Jiri Prochazka and Glover Teixeira. So Jan is first in line to challenge the champion of that match. So we'll see what happens with that. And then we also had Caitlin Chukagian. She won by split decision over Amanda Ribas. A lot of feedback I'm getting is that Amanda Ribas should have won that fight, but given the scorecards, it was a split decision, so they may or may not have to run it back. Very unsettling business between the two, so we'll see what happens with that. I mean, both are top tier fighters. Probably will be challenging Valentina Shevchenko for the 125 Women's Championship. So I believe Valentina, I think she's going to be defending her championship on the same card, the 275 card, on June 4th. So the fight is going to be taking place in Singapore, I believe. Oh wait, correction, 275 is taking place June 11th. My bad. So that'll be Glover Teixeira defending his 205 championship against Jiri Prochazka, and Valentina Shevchenko will be defending her 125 Women's Championship against Ooh, you know what? I don't know who she's fighting, but it's a new contender, I believe. So I have to look into that. But yeah. Um, what else? Oh yeah, on the UFC Vegas 54, there was another female fight. It dealt with Angela Hill losing by decision, unanimous decision, losing to Jenny Roba. I did believe it was 3-0, all three judges' cards. So Angela Hill does drop to 13-12, and honestly, I think she's just should be ready to hang them up because she can't hang with the elite. And honestly, she should be. Um, uh, I mean, if she works on her game more, she should keep fighting. But honestly, I don't think she's gonna make it up the ladder. And I actually like her behind, working in broadcasting. She's very personable. Um, I like listening to her talk and talk about fight strategies, fight analysis. So I think she does pretty well with that. And I think it's time for her to hang it up actually. And she has a future in broadcasting. So let's see what happens with that. Um, there were some other good fights. There was a newcomer from Japan. He's 22 years old. Um, Tai Taisura Taitura Tatura. He took a punch or two early in the first round against Cantalero, and there's a good chance that it was one of those things where a newcomer who's undefeated would be taken out in his UFC debut because you have UFC veterans who know the ropes or the cage, and the veterans tend to beat on these new UFC newcomers. But this UFC newcomer from Japan, Tatsuri, um, he was able to defeat Catalaro. So good victory for the guy. So he might be on his way up. He said on a little what do you call it? One of those index cards, saying that he's here for the UFC to get championship belt. So he might be challenging the. I believe he's going to be challenging for the 135. I think they were at 135 or 125 actually. So the 125 actually needs more meat in the division because I think it's only as far as two fighters that I remember actually. So hopefully new fighters come in, and I believe the guy who just won that I just talked about, he was a 125er. So what else? Um, oh, and well, can't think of any more about the UFC fights. Other than a few women fights and then a couple of the guy fights. Um, I'm gonna talk about Foodie Land Del Mar. So I've been waiting for this Foodie Land to happen, to show up this past weekend. Had a couple months, saw the ad. They were going to promote over 150 vendors, food, arts and crafts, and they came to the Del Mar Fairgrounds. They were only here for 3 days, March 13, 14, 15, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I think it's part of four Foodie Land events. So the first one was down here in Del Mar. Then I believe they're going to go up to LA, I believe the weekend of June 4th. And then they're going to go up to Berkeley later in July or August or something. And there's probably one other one that's up in, I think, San Bernardino or something like that. But they're heading back up north. So, and these vendors are actually coming from all over all over California. Sacramento, San Francisco, LA, Irvine, San Diego. So all these vendors all came into one place, and they're probably going to do the same thing over at the other three Foodie Land events. And honestly, a lot of great food. I was able to try out um, yakitori, chicken skewers. They had a mochi at the end of the skewer, so after you eat the chicken on the skewer, you're gonna finish off the skewer with a mochi at the end of it. Really, really great. I love it. Um, I also had the Katsu Bow Burger. You got a Chinese or Asian white bun. Could be Vietnamese or Chinese, actually, depending on how you look at it. They cut the bun in half, and you get to put the chicken katsu in the middle with veggies, and it's really big. And I had them cut them in half, actually. So it may or may not have been a great idea to do that because you try to eat it like a big sandwich or a hamburger, and I'm glad I had it. The chicken katsu was pretty good. The white bun was good. So, um, what else did I have? Oh, Gator Bites. I had Gator Bites from Pearson's, Louisiana Cajun food. Uh, Good stuff. It wasn't like a lot of portion, but you do get a good bit of um, the Gator Bites, which may or may not have a mixture of chicken and calamari, but if it's gator meat, it's gator meat. So, and the owner of Pearson was pretty cool. I got to talk to him for a little bit, just like some of the other ones too. And I finished off my Saturday after those three entrees with actually, I actually did have wings, honey sriracha wings from I think Island Life Foods. I think that's what they call. I think that's where they came from. So I had honey sriracha. Those were good. It was not spicy at all, or it was tolerable for me to have actually, because I'm not a spicy person. So uh, for the dessert, I was able to get dang so good Vietnamese ice cream. I actually ordered the honey avocado ice cream. Really good. I do recommend, like, if you were to get it right away. I normally would have waited like 5 minutes for it to kind of soften just a little bit so that your spoon can actually get in there and scoop out the ice cream. Otherwise, if you use one of those to-go wooden spoons, it will probably break on pressure. So I would wait for a few minutes for it to kind of melt or get soft a little bit. So, but overall, a lot of good stuff. Um, they actually have a store here in Mira Mesa, Miramar, on Marilani Drive. So if I get a craving for their ice cream, I'll probably uh, stop by and have some. There was a all things ube. I wanted to try them out on Saturday and Sunday, but they closed early on Sunday, and I missed out on Saturday. So, but they was a great thing about it is that All Things Ube is actually here also on Mirilani Drive in Mira Mesa, Miramar. So I might stop by and have that too. So, and then on Sunday I did get to try Rice or Death. They had something called the Stay Gold, even though I've been calling it Slay Gold, but it's basically chicken karaj over fried rice and a fried egg. Really good. I think um, they have a spot in Market Street downtown, so I think I might be stopping by for their food, or I'll see them at more of these festivals. So kudos to Rice or Death. I also had the pho soup dumplings from Drunken Dumpling, which is actually out of Sacramento. So hopefully I'll see them every year, or if I happen to go up to LA, if I just feel like it on the weekend of June 4th, they're going to be in Pasadena or LA. So, um, good stuff. The pho broth was actually in each of these dumplings, so it was really good. I would have it over and over again if I had to. So, and I had another item. It was a Euro lamb. So that was from Greek Snack. Um, good stuff, good lamb, great pita bread, and great veggies. So it's a good. It was actually really big too, so it was good. I'm glad I had it. Kudos to Greek food. And to finish off my Sunday, I actually had the Hawaiian cone. It was a J shape honeycomb infused with vanilla ice cream, and it was filled with ice cream from top to bottom, so you could start at either end. And the vanilla ice cream was really good, and the honeycomb was pretty decent. So it was um, the slogan they had for this Hawaiian cone was basically the second best thing you would ever eat in your life. So it's pretty close. um, so it was good stuff, and I'm glad I got to try a lot of stuff, and I'm glad Foodie Land is going to be here every year in Del Mar, and the fact that they have 4 separate events in California throughout the summer, I might check it out if they're going to be close between LA and San Diego. So I might see them again, and they might actually recognize me, or they might tag me in Instagram. So um, I'm a big foodie, and I'm glad they had this, and I'm waiting for more of these events because it touches my heart, my tummy, that you have a lot of great food, all coming together in one place, and it's just my utopia with food. So all right, done with Foodie Land, done with the UFC, Padres, Stanley Cup playoffs, NBA playoffs, and this is Tiggy Maximus signing off. So talk to you guys later. Enjoy your day. Bye, guys.